On May 11th and 12th, 2026, Kenya hosted the Africa-French Summit in Nairobi. French President Emmanuel Macron arrived promising investment, security cooperation, and what he called renewed partnership with Africa. Billions were pledged for technology, energy, and infrastructure. But across Africa, many people are asking difficult questions. Why is France strengthening ties with East Africa after losing influence in parts of West Africa? Why are military agreements expanding? Why is Africa suddenly becoming strategically important again? And in a world increasingly shaped by globalization, who truly benefits from these partnerships? Because for many Africans, colonialism never completely disappeared. It simply evolved. My name is Daniel Omoro. I was born and raised in Kenya, and today I want to discuss modern neo-colonialism in Africa. Not colonialism of the past alone, but modern system of influence shaped through economics, military partnership, resources competition, and globalization. And I want to explore one major question. Is the new Africa-French partnership truly equal, or is colonial power simply being modernized? France once controlled large parts of Africa through colonial rule, and for many Africans, the colonial legacy can be summarized in three words: violence, domination, and extraction. Colonial system extracted gold, uranium, labor, land, and wealth, while African population remained politically and economically controlled. Even after independence, many former colonies remained economically and militarily connected to France. One major example was the CFA franc system used across parts of West Africa and Central Africa. Critics argue that political independence do not always guarantee economic freedoms. In terms of natural resources, Africa is the richest continent in the world. It holds nearly 30% of the world mineral reserves, more gold, more diamond, more cobalt, and more uranium than anywhere else on Earth. More than 1 billion tons of minerals are produced every year across the continent, and yet, according to the Global Development Rankings, 23 of the world's poorest countries are still located in Africa. That contradiction is one of the central questions behind modern neocolonialism. Today, Africa's strategic importance is growing rapidly because these same minerals are critical for electric vehicles, artificial intelligence, batteries, and military technology, and global powers increasingly compete for access to those resources. Between 2022 and 2025, French troops were expelled from Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. Mass protests erupted as citizens demanded sovereignty and an end to what many viewed as foreign influence disguised as partnership. Across Africa, activists, intellectuals, and leaders are increasingly questioning whether globalization has created equal partnership or simply a new system of dependency.
Imperialism does not want to leave Africa, it wants to relocate.
And as France loses influence in parts of West Africa, attention is increasingly shifting towards East Africa, especially Kenya.
I would ask you this, is France trying to rebrand its image in Africa through Kenya?
I think that would be best answered by France itself.
Your co-host to this
event,
so I don't have France here, I have you.
Yes, you have me here. But for us, we treat our partners individually.
At the summit, President Emmanuel Macron described France and Africa as deeply connected. He stated that French faith is tied to African's continent faith. He also described France as true Pan-Africans.
Nous sommes les vrais panafricanistes. Nous croyons que l'Afrique est un continent.
The supporters viewed these comments as a commitment to partnership and shared development. And to be fair, many African governments actively seek this partnership for investment and development. But critics across Africa question whether these words reflect equality or strategic necessity. Not all criticism comes from outside Africa. Some Kenyan political figures and activists have also questioned foreign corporate influence and resources extraction. As someone born in Kenya, this issue feels personal to me, because when global powers discuss Africa, they're not discussing abstract territory. They're discussing the future of real people, real communities, and real nations. But this issue is bigger than France alone. It reflects a large transformation happening in the global system itself. Today, power no longer belongs to only government. Cooperation, financial institutions, military alliances, and global systems increasingly shape world events today.
French warships have docked at the port of Mombasa carrying over 800 military personnel from the French army. The French ambassador to Kenya, Arnaud, says the deployment is part of international cooperation aimed at strengthening security and defense relations between France and Kenya.
Globalization has connected the world economically and politically, but it has also created an equal relationship between stronger and weaker nations. Across Africa, many intellectuals continue to warn the continent must remain alert as foreign influence expands.
And what is Macron trying to do is trying to raid the former colonies of the United Kingdom and Portugal.
One statement that perfectly captures this issue is, modern neo-colonialism does not always arrive through conquest. Sometimes it arrives through contracts, debt, military agreements, and economic dependency. I believe Africa should work with the world, but Africa should work with the world as equal partners, not as a source of extraction. Young Africans today are becoming more aware of history, globalization, and geopolitical power. They are demanding accountability, transparency, and sovereignty. Because the future of Africa should not be shaped only in foreign capitals or corporate boardrooms. It should also be shaped by African voices, African citizens, and African interest. Because the real question in the 21st century is no longer whether colonialism exists. The real question is this: has colonialism simply changed its form? Thank you.